Friends and fans, I hope that you are having a fantastic day today. Um, Today continue. I'm going to continue that conversation that I was having with you yesterday regarding the forces that act on an aircraft, on an airplane, in the air, flying. This is in response to questions that I received from some of you. I believe from some students out there. So this is going to be part two of that discussion. Well, I think the first one was the first one was part A, so this one will be part B. So basically, I talked about the effects of four forces on an aircraft, on an airplane, when it's flying in the air. I talk about the three versions of the Newton's laws, and then I think I mentioned that those forces are weight of the aircraft, lift, thrust, and drag. And that's if you want to have a better understanding of what I talked about in my previous video regarding the subject, I am encouraging you to go and look at the video. But today I'm going to continue because I did not want to make a long video yesterday. I'm trying to kind of make the videos shorter, so okay. I am going to answer some questions that I received from you in my inbox, from some of you in my inbox. There's one question. One of the question is, well, what is moment? What is moment? Well, sometimes it's easier for me to illustrate something, is to give an example of something instead of define it with specific words. So what is moment? I want you to think about when it comes to aerodynamics, not only aerodynamics, my friends and fans, every time you hear about moment, think about rotation, okay? Rotation, positive rotation or negative rotation, okay? And excuse me. So basically, for the rotation to occur, there has to be an applied force. Okay, let me give you an example. if you ever watched if you ever watched your mechanic change a tire in your car, you should be able to visualize what the moment is from the example I'm going to give you. Pretend that you're watching your mechanic changing one of your tires in your car, and then he's or she's using a regular wrench to remove the nuts, from the hub. Now, what it does, in order to remove the nuts, you use a wrench, and he or she applies a force, a rotational force to loosen and remove the nuts. This is called a moment. Okay, but this particular rotation, since the mechanic is removing the nuts, so the mechanic is making a negative rotation, which is called a negative moment. Now, when the mechanic now is ready to replace your tire to your car, he or she is going to tighten the nuts, okay, using the wrench. So he's going to make a positive rotational motion in order to tighten the nuts to put your tire in place. This rotational, okay, clockwise motion is a positive moment. Okay, so the moment is a force. Okay, is a force. Is a rotational force in order to tighten the nuts. But using a wrench now, the mechanic needs to apply a force on the wrench in order to turn the nuts to to tighten them. So the force, there's a force that is applied perpendicularly on the wrench, and that force has an impact on the center of the bolt to which the nut is attached. Okay, so when the mechanic is turning the wrench, okay, to tighten the nuts, there's a force that is applied to the center of the bolt, okay, of the stud in the tire, on the of the stud in the hub to install the tire. So this is the moment. This force, okay, is called moment. So how do you measure moment? Well, moment is going to be the force, the amount of force you apply, the amount of force the mechanic applies on the wrench, multiply by the length, the perpendicular length of the force to the center of the bolt or the stud. Okay, so moment in this case is M, equal, okay, equal pound, the amount of force, pound, multiplied by the distance from the perpendicular distance of the applied force of the wrench to the center of the bolt or the stud, and this is called arm. So the moment is the force that you apply on the wrench. Okay, the mechanic applies on the wrench to tighten the nuts, multiplied by the distance from I think I said that before, from the perpendicular distance of the line of force to the center of the nut, which is called an arm. So the formula in this case becomes moment equal force in pound multiplied by distance to the nut, which is in either in inches or in feet. Okay, so so moment equals force in pound multiplied by distance in inches or feet. So moment equals, so moment is measured in each pound or foot pound, feet pound, foot pound, depending on the length of the wrench. If the wrench is shorter, is less than 12 feet, no, not 12 feet. If the length is, if the wrench, the mechanic is applying the force on, is less than, if the length of the wrench is less than 12 inches, which is a foot, which is a foot, so the moment is gonna be measured in each pound. But if the length of the wrench that the mechanic is applying the force on to tighten the nut is longer than a foot, then moment in this case is going to be measured in foot pound. That's the moment. Okay, another question in my inbox. What is work? What is work? First of all, when you hear work, you're thinking about where you go to work, you do some work. No, that's not, in this case, that's not what work is. And instead of using specific words to define work for you, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you have well, let's take the wall as an example. If you push on the wall, okay, on the wall of your house, you push, you apply the maximum force you can to push the wall, and if the wall doesn't move, even though you use energy to push the wall, if the wall doesn't move, you have not done work. You do work when you actually apply force on something, and then you move that something, at a certain distance. That's work. But you can keep on pushing on something, on the table, on whatever, on your couch. You pushing it. If it's not moving, you have not done work. You only do work when you actually, when there's motion, when you actually move something, and that something, it's when you push on something or pull on something, and then that something, that body actually moves the way you want it, in the direction of your force. Okay, yeah, in the direction of the force that you have applied. That's work. This is not your typical definition of work. When you go to work, you do work. That's not what it is. All right. What is another question that I received is that what is energy? What is energy? Okay, energy is the, you remember you, okay, I just gave you an example of work. Okay, if you're trying to push on the body and then it's not moving, okay, you're not doing work. So there's a reason for that. There's a reason that no matter how much you push or you pull that body and it's not moving, it should have it should have moved. That it should have moved, but it's not. Maybe because you don't have enough energy, right? And maybe if you had enough energy, then you enough energy than you even needed to push that object, you would probably just push it so fast that you will not even notice that you pushed it. That you will not even notice that it has moved. So in this case, we can define energy as the ability to do work. All right. So you see the connection here between energy and work. You have to have energy to do the work. So energy is the ability to actually do the work, to move that object. Okay. So if you're not moving that object, then you're wasting energy. Okay. So, but you know, and I know that there are several various forms of energy. Okay, you have there's chemical energy, you got heat energy, there is you know all kinds of energy. Okay, let me give you an example of heat energy. Okay, you take you know, take the palms of your hand and then rub them. Okay, you rub them together, you know, like this. I bet you should feel some kind of, you know, heat in there. You should feel some kind of heat between the palms of your hand, because you created energy. That's a heat. That's a heat energy. The palms of your hand should feel a little warm when you rub them together like that. So that's heat energy. So yeah, there are several. There are various kinds of energy, but for the purpose of aviation, of aerodynamics, we're talking about mechanical energy. Okay, mechanical energy. That's what we in aviation we are. This is what is of most interest to us in aviation, is the mechanical energy. Okay, so as we deal with two kinds of mechanical energy. We have the potential energy and the kinetic energy. Okay, so you're probably wondering, okay, what is the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy? Well, uh, once again, I'm going to give you an example instead of trying to define this concept with specific words. An example, let's say you have okay, let's say you put gas in your tank, in your car tank, but you're not driving. Okay, that means the gas in the tank, in your gas tank, in the gas in your gas tank in your car is not, there's no activity. The gas is not producing any type of energy, so you can drive. You know, it has, that gas in your tank has energy. It has energy, but that energy has not been used yet because you're not driving the car. So in that case, it is ready. The gas in your tank is ready to produce some work, so you can drive your car. Okay, but still, since you're not driving, the gas in your tank has potential to help you drive your car. But until you get in your car and start your car and start your car, the gas in the tank has potential. It can do stuff. It has energy, but the energy has not been used yet until you start your car. So that's what you call potential energy. Another example, let's say there's a generator who can be run by water, and you have water in a tank somewhere, for that purpose. But the water is sitting in your tank, in whatever container you have. It's not moving, it's not doing anything. But its purpose is to drive a generator that you have. Okay, so until you actually use that water to drive the generator, that water has potential energy. That means he can do some work. He got energy to do some work, but until you actually release that water from the container to drive your generator, okay, it's going to remain, a potential energy, okay, which is PE, potential energy. Okay, but as soon as you use that water and you start, and then you use it, you release the water from the container, and the water starts running your generator. Now, okay, you got a transformation of, there's a transfer of energy from potential energy to kinetic energy, because kinetic, there's movement now. Okay, so it is safe to say that energy cannot be created. Energy cannot be created or be destroyed, but it can be, but it can change. It can change forms. That's what you have here. You got potential energy that is now that is that takes another form. Okay, it is transfer of potential energy to kinetic energy, because the water that was not doing anything, which had potential to do something, now it's actually driving the generator. The generator is producing whatever it's supposed to produce, now creating kinetic energy. Okay, now you also you have potential energy, which is converted into kinetic energy, and now you have total energy, which is potential energy, plus kinetic energy, and you have total energy. I hope that answers your question. All right. So the last one, the last question that I'm going to answer now, it is power. What is power? What is power? Okay, you have power, So what you gonna do with it? You got a lot of work in front of you, even at your job. Okay, let's say you need to produce. You need to produce 100 units, per hour. So for you to do that, you have to do it within a time frame. So if you may have only you may only have power to do half of that, for the same time, during the same time frame. So you see where I'm coming from. So power. So yeah. Let me go through. Let me say that again. At your job, you are assigned to produce 100 units, whatever you're making, 100 units per day. Okay. Depending on your power, if you don't have enough power to do that in a day, that means if you can do produce only half for the day, so your power is reduced in half, because the day is the time you're supposed. One day is the time you're supposed to do you're supposed to produce the units. But if you only can do half, that means you don't have enough power to do it. On the other hand, you may be able to produce more than 100 units a day, maybe 200 units. You may even do 200 units a day. I mean, you have more than the power you need to do the number of units required by your company. So you can see right there there's a relation, there's a ratio of what you can do in the time that you suppose. There's a ratio of what you can do, you can do yourself, and the time that you're supposed to do it. So you can say power is the rate of doing work. Is the rate of doing work, like is a ratio. What you actually can do. Okay, work. I would say divided by time. That's power. Is the rate of doing work. How many units can you produce in a time frame, in a specific time frame? Maybe you can do less, maybe you can do more, or maybe you can do exactly what is required from you. The rate of doing work, power. Oh, there's another one. There's another. I thought that there was another question in my someone sent to me, and that's the last one for today. What is friction? Well, one thing I want you to know right off the bat. Friction is a type is a type of energy that is a type of force, I would say, that we in aviation we try to stay away from, because friction produces friction is when you have two. Let me give you an example. I like to give an example. Let's say you take two pieces of metal. You take two pieces of metal, and then you, just like you did with your hands earlier, you just you rub them together. Okay, that is going to create, just like your hand, the palms of your hand, you just like you remember they created some kind of heat energy. Well, the friction of the two pieces of metal that you're rubbing, that's friction, is going to create also energy, okay, heat energy. But what it's going to do is going to destroy, it's going to damage the metal, the surfaces of the two metal. Okay, so that's the reason why in aviation we try to stay away from friction, like two materials, two pieces of metal, for example, rubbing together, on the aircraft. And this is taken care of even at the during the manufacturing of the plane. The manufacturers, they do the best they can to avoid that scenario when you have two pieces of metal as the aircraft is moving, and then you got metal rubbing against it. You got parts rubbing against each other, creating friction, which is a force in the design of the aircraft. That is the that fact is the manufacturer is actually they are aware of that, and they do the best they can to avoid that kind of forces, to avoid friction. Okay, but there's a good side of friction also. Okay, there's also a good side of friction, and I tell you, let me give you an example. Now you're driving your car, right? And you have tires in your car, right? So what happens when you drive your car and then you press, okay, your brake pedal? What happened? Your car is supposed to stop. So that means that you apply force on your tires, and then your tires, your tire just create friction with the pavement, and that allows your car to stop. That means even though in certain situation friction is bad, but when it comes to stopping your tire, you went well. When it comes to stop your car when you drive, friction is a good thing because your tires need to uh, to act, you know, to make some type of you know uh, contact with the pavement, and then uh, when you brake, and then there's your tires and the pavement create a force which is friction. So you need friction force to stop your car when you drive. The same thing for an airplane. Okay, same thing, same thing. So friction is not good in some cases, but in this case, to stop your car or to stop an airplane on the runway, it's a good thing. So I hope I answered your questions, and then you don't hesitate to send me more of them, and I will do the best I can to answer them. And if I can't, I will tell you, hey, I can't, or I can do more research to try to give you an answer, to try to give you answers. So meanwhile, have a good day, have a good Sunday, because today is Sunday, and then don't forget to stay safe out there. Bye.